Hey everybody, this is Coach Hunter. I'm here to give you 5 shooting tips that you can work on this summer. Something that I've spent a lot of time in the gym, my days at Omaha Central coaching shooting for some of the best shooters in the program. One of the things that is, I think, the biggest overlooked aspect to shooting is breaking it down to the specific parts to how you start the journey of shooting. I'm not even going to get that far into it. These 5 tips are at least going to get you started in regards to alignment. Alignment is the most important thing that every shooter can work on. And it's one of the things that gets so overlooked, and I see so many bad habits by the time they get to the high school level that it's almost too late to change some of them. The few that have the ability to change are very rewarding to see the difference once alignment and rhythm and all those things are in flow with each other. So, tip number 1 is the following. It's all about getting first your hand aligned with the ball when you can in practice habits. Now realistically in a game it's not going to happen. You have to be able to catch the ball and shoot, right? But in practice habits and specifically at the free throw line, you do have the ability when the game slows down to work on getting the proper feel for your hands so that once you get to the reactionary moment in the game, the feel is going to try to catch the ball the same way. So the first tip is the following, and that is you need to get your index finger on your shooting hand aligned with the little hole that you aired up with. So you want to take your index finger, and this is my son's ball, so I put his name there specifically so he could start to get used to that, okay? So that's the first thing we do. You get that on there like that. That centers your shooting hand to the middle of the ball, which is what you want. That's a tip I actually picked up. I don't take credit for that. I got that from Coach Behrens back in the day, and it works out great. Okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing is we're not going to worry about this other hand at any point at the first part of the process of shooting. All shooting needs to first develop on your shooting side. So what I tell a lot of the athletes that I've worked with is basically you could take a line and draw it right down the middle of the body and forget about your opposite side when you're first starting to learn about shooting. It's all about your shooting side that's most important. Otherwise, if you're doing too much of right and left in your shot and you're shooting too much in the middle, you are not properly aligned, and that will eventually expose itself down the road. So the first thing we do is we get our hand with that index finger right on that. It's a real simple, it's on every ball. Every ball has to be aired up, so you have that. So you get that first and foremost. And your hand offsets off of that, right? You should be able to hold that ball. You have a little bit of space in between here. It shouldn't be completely on the palm like that. You take that index finger, you line that up, and you just let that set naturally in there, okay? Second tip goes down to the feet, is the shooting side foot alignment, okay? I'm not worried about the right foot at all. I'm left-handed, okay? So what I do is once I have, and I've worked with my son who's in first grade on this stuff, so if a first grader can do it, definitely a high schooler can do it. So you take this, you got your finger line. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your shooting side foot and you're going to line that to the center of the rim, okay? So awesome, take it on down to my foot. So you got your shooting side foot, okay? Once that shooting side foot is aligned, my right foot, in my case, is just going to set naturally. My only focus is getting that shooting. I want that right in line with the middle of the rim. When that happens, then I just let my body naturally go, and that's going to offset that a little bit, okay? So now I have my finger aligned. Now I have my foot. So I got my top and my bottom all lined together. Okay, that's very, very important. You should never only focus on one aspect. All shooting is, upper body and lower body alignment. Okay? Third tip is the up, down, up motion. One of the biggest mistakes that I see in American basketball is the fact that young people are shooting on a rim that's way too high for them at too early of an age. So what happens naturally is the kids want to get the ball up there. So what happens is they have to exert so much force to get it up there that they start shooting like this, okay? And when you do that, let's go like this. They start shooting like this, okay? You become a chin shooter. Chin shooters are no good on the upper levels. And the reason why that is because as you get to a higher level, longer arms, more athleticism, smarter players, that lower angle is going to get blocked by the defender. So what you have to get used to, and all great shooters do it on the NBA level, collegiate level, they get the ball up, right? Up, and they go over the top of hands. So when a person's guarding like this, when you're shooting, you're going to bring the ball behind it and over the top. If that hand's out like this and you're a chin shooter, you're going right in to that defender's hand. So the third tip is working on the up, down, up motion above your head that young people don't do because they're shooting under their head a lot of times, right? We want to go over the top. Like I said, I've done this with Apollo, and I have him stretch all the way up. Okay, I've got his finger aligned. I've got his foot aligned. Now I'm going to stretch him all the way up because what I want him to get used to is the up, down, up motion above his head, even at a first grade level. So it's up, down, up. Okay? So it's very, very important. So as Apollo develops, even with two hands, up, down, up, you can see that ball is getting used to, with the muscle memory, to be able to comfortably shoot above your head. So what we do, and what I did with all the high school shooters at Central, we started high, we go up, down, up. Okay? Now, that goes to the fourth tip, which is rotation. Okay? We don't throw a knuckleball. We don't throw a ball with no spin. Okay? None of that stuff. I'm going to bend down on my knee so you can get the rotation. All right? So what you want with rotation is to see that ball spinning off those fingertips. Okay? And we'll slow that down for you so you can see that. And how you get the rotation is from the up, down, up motion. You can't just start here, and what that is, that's a push motion. If I'm down here, I'm just pushing like that, right? And I'm releasing it off my hand, and it's not moving. Where the up, down, up is up, down, up is naturally bringing your wrist back, and then it's going to release naturally off the fingertips, and you're going to get the proper rotation. That ball should spin without any, side rotation or any of that stuff. Up, down, up. Okay? That's the fourth tip. So, when you're first starting out, we haven't even worried about accuracy of making shots yet. We're working on alignment and all the things that are natural to get precision to your shot. All right? And finally, the last step is the follow through. Okay? Now let's see, I'll go back down here. Thank you, Austin. So I'm up, I'm down, and I'm up. Now because I'm instructing and doing this all at one time, I'm going to have to catch the ball. But what I want you to see is after I've done the up and it rotates off my fingertips, I'm just letting that wrist go naturally down, and I'm finishing high like that, okay? So I'll try to go slow, up, down, up. It's rotating off the fingers, and I just let it naturally go to the spot it wants to stop at, okay? When you actually shoot it, kind of looks like this, up, down, up, okay? And it kind of looks like a swan when you see it when it's all said and done, okay? It looks like a swan, okay? So let's try that again. Up, down, up, okay? And so like when I talked to Apollo about finishing high, this is what finishing high means, is that the follow-through hand should finish high. It shouldn't drop. You shouldn't do a pushback. I see a lot of that on the high school level, where you go ooh, ooh, like that. And that's nerves. And you've got to get rid of those nerves. And you got to get confidence so that when you're doing up, down, up, it'll roll off and hold with confidence. And that's what you ultimately want. Now, one extra tip, I'm going to give you a bonus tip on this, is once you get used to doing this with one hand, and then obviously you're starting to shoot. Shoot right underneath the basket, and then work yourself out from there, one step at a time, once you start building up your accuracy of up, down, up, okay? And when it comes down, just for an extra tip, it should go to where the ball and your index finger goes right above your shooting side eye, okay? So if I'm turning myself, oop, other way, let's go that way, okay? Okay, see my index finger? It's right above my shooting eye. So anybody like a Steph Curry, all those that do really well, the closer you get to your eye, it's just a general physics or whatever, the closer you get to your eye, because what's seeing the rim? Your eye is seeing the rim, correct? So the closer that line is to where the ball is, in theory, the greater accuracy. So if your ball is way up here, there's variance, right? Versus down here. So up, down, up takes that to that shooting side eye spot. Up, down, up, okay? And then finally, like I said, the extra tip is once you get used to that, you take the other hand and you do a baby bird grip on the side. It should not have a lot. This should just be a directional thing. And it shouldn't change. Your mentality shouldn't change at all. It's just there to help balance. Up, down, up. Okay? Let's watch that again. Baby bird grip, like you're holding a baby bird. You're just putting it on the side. Up, down, up. Okay? And that comes off. All the action, though, is still on your shooting side. Now, last but not least, you might say to yourself, okay, this is fine, Coach Hunter. How does this all relate eventually to the game? Well, what you're doing is you're getting your muscle memory to get used to shooting above your eye. That's the most important thing, becoming a great shooter and being efficient on all levels, not just middle school, not just high school, but on all levels. So when you eventually get later, then you're working off the floor, right? You're working off the floor. Well, what happens is the next steps is taking that ball, grabbing it off the dribble line, bringing it up and through, okay? So in order to get there, you got to get the ball, okay? And I'll do this angle in case this is a better angle. You got to get the ball here. Now, doesn't this look like the down spot when we were like this? Up, down, up. Okay? So in a game, you're here to the down spot. And if you're there, this is what you practice from the very beginning. Now I'm going up like so. So all these things connect together. But you got to start with the basics and you got to be disciplined about it. And the greatest thing that I saw when I was coaching was that young people are not disciplined enough to take the time to do those first 5 steps the right way. They just want to get in the gym, start shooting. Well, I can tell you right now, the way we're built, we can only get logically so far on our own before we get exposed. We need the wisdoms of the game, the foundational aspects of the game, alignment, rhythm, flow, all those types of things to get to the next level. So those are your tips today. I hope that you have learned something today. In review, first one, index finger alignment. Take your index finger, go right through the hole that you air up the ball. Okay? Second, shooting side foot alignment. You get that foot when you can, especially in practice, aligned. You get that foot aligned, let this other foot go naturally off of that. Your body is aligned on your shooting side. Okay? Third tip, up, down, up. You do this, start high, Go down and up to get used to shooting the ball above your eye. Fourth tip, rotation. The up, down, up naturally gives you rotation. Up, down, up. And finally, follow through. Up, down, up. And hold that follow through. And the bonus is the baby bird grip once you get used to it. Start shooting and becoming accurate only with one arm in the process. Once you get good at that, then take your opposite arm, get that baby bird grip, soft, soft, and do your up, down, up. And that's it for the summer. You get that, you will become a better shooter. I'm Coach Hunter. Until next time, we'll see you later.